Joining us today at Sounds Radio, I'm pleased to say Marissa Kelty and Caroline Gilmore. Hello.
Hello.
How are you? All right.
We're good. How are you?
Brilliant. Thanks very much for talking to us here at Sounds Radio today. We've been following your new release, which is, well, just climbing up the charts at the moment. It's fantastic. Your new song. How are you feeling about this? Because it's been such like an explosion, hasn't it? It's just come onto the scene, into the charts, and climbing right up there.
We're really pleased with the reception so far. Obviously, it's been quite a while since we put out a single. I think it was Big Love last year.
Yeah.
And we went on tour quite a lot. So that took up kind of the bulk of the year last year. So to put out a new single and to get this response, I think we got to, what was it, number 17 in the iTunes pop charts. Wow. On the day of the release. So we were very, very pleased with that.
Yeah. I mean, last year's tune was brilliant, wasn't it? We said it was going to be a big song, and you wanted a big summer song, didn't you, with last year's hits? Yeah. And I think we were playing it for around about 6 months here on Sounds Radio because everybody loved it. And sometimes a song really fits well, and that did here at Sounds Radio. We really enjoyed that one. And I think this one that you've got now could be even bigger.
Oh, thank you.
Let's
yes, it's definitely got a bit of energy about it. And, you know, obviously we love pop music. That's our thing. And we love all the old pop, like, you know, the pop of the 80s, 90s, even into 2000, that proper uplifting, sing-along and melodic pop music. We just try to do our best.
Do your best. It's more than your best. It's brilliant. No, I was excited to see it when you announced it last week, and I thought, wow, you know, I need to get in touch with you and have a chat, because we had a chat last year, and so much has happened since last year. You've been so busy. You've been with Scarivore as well, haven't you? You've been supporting them, and that was November and December. So your Christmas must have been really busy.
Yeah, I think Christmas would just sort of stop to catch our breath for 5 minutes.
I got sick.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what always happens when you stop for breath.
What's planned for 2023? Obviously, you got the new single that's out that's doing really well. Have you got more releases planned for this year?
We do. We have been writing quite a lot of some new songs as well. So we're working on trying to complete that. Potential album chat, not quite sure where that's going yet. Working through it. I think it's just building up the bank of songs, really. Working with producers and a little bit of touring as well. More gigs, some more shows. So yeah, I think we've got a lot that we want to do, but it's a lot of behind the scenes at the moment to try to make it all happen and pull it all together, I would say.
Yeah.
How do you manage it all then? Because it must be a bit of a nightmare to work it all out, really. Do you have some people that are helping you to do that?
We effectively manage it ourselves. So when it comes to releasing a single and a single campaign, we have got people that are part of the Eves team, part of the Radio Pluggers teams, and they're great. So they've been in the background doing their thing to service the track to various radio stations and online stations. But the bulk of the rest of the work, like the organising gigs, tour arrangements, single campaigns in general, it's all us, I'm afraid. We're a bit of a machine, and we act like our own record label.
Yeah,
don't we?
We've got to be many things.
Yeah.
Many hats.
You don't get a dull moment then, because you'll be very, very busy. You never get a spare half a day or anything to do what you want, do you? Or...
Nigel, I'm knackered, mate. I'm absolutely knackered. It's not even the end of March, and I'm like, I want a summer holiday right now. Right now.
Not going to get a holiday then. You'll have to do some gigs abroad, maybe, then you can tag it in, can't you? That's the best way, isn't it?
What we can do.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, who was doing the makeup on the covers and that? I noticed on the artwork that you got some distinctive makeup. How did that come about?
Well, I don't know. We just wanted to do something a little bit different, and I'd been looking up some images online and kind of looking at war paint and looking at different, you know, paint splashes and different things. And we worked with an amazing makeup artist called Jack Morgan, and we just kind of explained the brief to her, and she went, you know, let's just see what we'll do, get some colours out, and we'll just...
Right.
She just freestyled it, basically. She just went for it. She just went for it, and
completely different. I didn't know whether to be worried for a start or what when I looked at you, and I thought, oh, it looks a bit serious, this, you know, but it looked great. It's a different image, isn't it? And you need to have your own identity, don't you, in the music business, really?
think it's just anything you can do to catch a few eyes, really.
Yeah.
But I think to showcase as well the kind of act that we are, it's pop music. So it's not the singer-songwriter genre, it's not indie, we're pop. And pop's fun, pop's bright and colourful. And I think that also kind of fit the brief to kind of get that playful nature across to people, because the pop music market is huge. Everyone loves pop music in some shape or form. And yeah, we just thought this time it was good to do something a bit different, a bit less serious than what we've done in the past. That kind of sitting with your guitar or that staring into space. We just thought, let's just get the paint on and boom, that's us, you know?
And a good feel song. And I'll tell you what, it's very refreshing to hear somebody say that it is pop music. A lot of people don't like to pigeonhole themselves and say, oh, this is pop music. I've never heard that of any other artist before. They don't like to say that. They say, oh, no, this is soul or whatever, you know.
Yeah, there's a shame attached to it.
It's a bit of a dirty word, isn't it?
It sort of is, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know why though, because you think about all the best bands, and I don't care who you are, but most people will sing along with the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, you know,
Britney Spears,
anything that comes on, the cheesiest pop to the the most serious pop, you know, like right through from the 60s till now. You know, a good song's just a good song, and you know, we think pop music's amazing, and we're proud. We're proud to be pop.
Proud to be pop. There's your
That's great. That's superb. That I love that. It's very refreshing as well. Like I say,
the best quote that we've had yet for the single is it's Coldplay meets Abba. Now, that is amazing because we're massive Coldplay fans, and I do think they have done that sort of crossover from indie to pop really well. They're pop music now, but it's like really cool rock pop. I don't know how to describe Coldplay, but they've just got their thing going on. And to be compared to Coldplay meets ABBA, we were delighted.
Yeah.
A lot of the Coldplay fans got upset, didn't they, when they first said that they were going like a bit more pop music. Thought, oh no, we don't want that. You know, it wasn't cool, was it, to say that? But that's how they became such a massive band, didn't it? By going all.
Coldplay have been, even if you go back to their very earliest work, Coldplay, at the heart of what they do is, you know, it's all about the catchy melody and the lyrics, and they've never really changed. What they've done is they've kind of gone through, they might have sounded a wee bit more indie singer-songwriter at the start, and then they've kind of gone through it, and they've gone through their kind of pop dance phase as well, and they're working with other artists and things. But I think at the heart of it, it's anthemic sing-along songs, and
definitely.
That's at the heart of pop music and what it is, really.
Yeah. How do you get down to writing your own songs then? Do you do that between yourselves and just sit down? I'm always curious how people sit down and write a song. I ask them, everybody does it a different way, don't they? I've just wondered how you two do that. How do you get down to writing the song?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different for everybody, and I think inspiration hits at the weirdest times. Caroline quite often gets a wee melody in the shower. I quite often when I'm driving. I think actually probably when you're doing sort of mundane task that requires no brain power, I think that gives your brain a chance to actually rest, and then that's when the ideas start to come in. So I always find when I'm driving, I'll get sometimes write half a song when I'm driving, and I just get it in my head.
There has been an occasion where I've actually been in sleep and I've had a melody and I have to get up out of bed. So it's like 5 a.m. I have to go off and sit and record it at the piano. That's cool. So it just depends really, but we get together. I mean, we normally write separately. So at the very beginning of the Eves, we were very much writing together. We'd sit down with ideas and we'd work through it together. But I think we've gone off into an angle now where we get ideas of whatever and we'll go off and write the bulk of what it is first, and then we come to the table.
I think sometimes it's easier that way because you get to, sometimes you just need, when you're writing lyrics and things like that, you just need silence. And sometimes if somebody else is chipping in with other ideas, it can take you off on a different track and you just need some silence to come up with something and then kind of collaborate. So it's different, but then sometimes like Brand New Day kind of came together when we were working together and the riff came for that, and then I kind of wrote some of the rest of the song, and then it just depends. It can just come in a flash sometimes, or it can be a bit harder.
Yeah. Do you start with the lyrics first, or do you start with a melody first? How do you work it out?
Again, it can be different. Sometimes you might come up with a song title and then take it from there, or some lyrics and then work. These days I like to find a melody first, find the strongest melody that you can find, and then put the lyrics to it. Because sometimes if you have lyrics, you then try to find a melody that fits the lyrics, and it might not always be the best melody you can get. But it changes all the time.
For me, it's normally melody. I'll get this little signal that will come to me, like a na 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 na, and then I'm like, what is that? It's going around my head. Something sending me a message here to write a song about this. And then often I'll also be in the shower, like you said. I will be in the shower and I'll just start with a chorus. There's just like a line, a tagline, and I'll be in the shower. So like if we think back to City of Stars or whatever, you know, that all spawned from just that instantly being in my head. And then you build from that. So there's really no exact science to it. You've just got to strike when this inspiration hits you. Sorry, I couldn't get that out there.
Do you ever get like a writer's block? You know, when writers are writing a book, they say, "Oh, I just got a block. I can't do anything more." Do you ever get that when you're writing songs?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I did actually. I have to say, during COVID, and obviously when I've been working as well, because I've got a day job, like I just hit a massive block, I think round about 2020, 21, and that's when you kind of took over most of the writing duties there, because I couldn't come up with anything. I was just completely out of ideas. I was fatigued, I was tired, I was a bit fed up, and I didn't feel very inspired.
I think during COVID we did do a lot of writing then, but I think that it wasn't a very inspiring time, really, was it?
No.
You know, so quite hard to think of new ideas and stuff. And I think a lot of people when they think of writers, they think that it's a constant stream of ideas that come every day and things like that. And generally it's not. Like most of the time you're just getting on with general life, and then something will you either purposely sit down, but a lot of the time if you purposely sit down, that it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
Inspiration comes from, you know, it might be just, you know, watching somebody in the relationship, or, you know, seeing someone do something specific and you think, oh, that's a bit odd, and I'll write a song about it. Or, you know, it could be from personal experience, something just comes to you. Or just a wee lyric that inspires the rest of the song. So it's it's changeable.
Yeah.
Do you ever worry that you're pulling something from another song that's already been written? I mean, I would worry about that thing. Is that a common experience?
All the time.
I'm sure I've already done it. Yeah. I'm sure I've already ripped someone off and I don't even know about it.
Don't say that.
I know, it's especially if you come up with something that you think is actually quite good. If you come up with something you think, that's really good, it must have been done before. It must have been, like, where have I stolen this from?
There has been a couple of occasions where one of us has said, look, I've got this idea. But then the other one just bursts out laughing, going, that's just that song, right? And you're like, oh, bugger, yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, no.
Disappointment.
It can be really disappointing. You've ripped an entire melody from something else and put new lyrics to it, and you're like, oh, I didn't even realise.
Yeah. So, have you got an album out, or are you writing an album, or how's that? Do you do that, or are you just sticking to the singles?
I think we might be working on an album quite soon.
I think so, yeah. I mean, we've put out a hell of a lot of singles. It's quite tricky because time-wise, if you think back to when we first started out, we put out our first single, Tides, at the end of 2018.
Yeah.
Then we had a good year of putting out a couple of other singles. So normally when you get started, a breakthrough act, you put out a few singles, then you'll do the album, then you'll do the tours, and then you'll work on the second album. But for us, just as we got going, that was when the pandemic hit. So there was no point in even attempting to do an album because you couldn't go out to tour it, right? Yeah. So all that was binned. And then after the pandemic, you're trying to get back on your feet. You're trying to regroup. You're trying to rebuild your fan base. You're basically starting again.
Yeah.
And that really started again with, I suppose it really kicked off with Brand New Day. And then working beyond that. So now we're at a point where we've put out a lot of singles now. the following has increased, which is great. We've done a lot of live shows, a lot of support tours, so it does feel right to do an album right now.
Yeah.
Funding it is another story. If you're like an independent, self-funded act, it's very expensive to record an album,
right,
and to promote it, and to campaign it, and to go out there and do a tour. It's a massive undertaking, so that's why we need to take our time, work through a plan, and hopefully get something on the go soon.
Yeah. What's the priority then? Is the priority for this year, is it to get out to more festivals and get known even more by going out to more places and doing gigs? Is that the priority, as well as the singles?
Yeah, I think it's to write some more songs.
Yeah.
So we're sitting with a portfolio of songs that we wrote during COVID. And we've got quite a lot of those songs, but we're at the point where we need to be doing something a bit fresh and new. So we want to write some new songs. We've got a lot in development at the moment. Put out a couple more singles, I think. Get on tours, get out to do our own little tour if we can, and then work on that first album.
Yeah. Right. It's complicated, isn't it? It's a bit of a jigsaw to put together to know the right path, which way you're going to be going, isn't it? Especially when you're sorting it out between the two of you. I suppose it's better than being on your own, though, and being a solo artist. That would be really difficult then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be a lonely road, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Really lonely.
So you get on. You must obviously get on really well to be writing songs together and everything like that. Have you known each other for a long, long time?
Just before we started writing, really, back in
2016.
Yeah, I'd known Caroline I heard her name around about in the kind of music scene in Edinburgh, and we'd kind of played a few of the same venues and things like that. And I was looking for someone to songwrite with, because I love harmonies, and like I said, it can be quite lonely on your own. Yeah. To have someone else beside you on the journey. So sent her a message on Facebook, and we met up a few months later and just started working on some ideas shortly after that, and it's been good for the most part.
For the most part.
What
was the bad part?
They are bust up in fisticuffs, but it's all right. I mean, generally speaking, we do pretty well. We go out all the time together, like gigs, performing, writing, recording.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty involved. So we do all right.
Fantastic. You've done a great job anyway. I mean, it's blended well together, hasn't it? You work perfect together. The sound's superb. I can only see it going upwards for you both, because I just think it's, from everybody in the radio industry that I know, they've just got nothing but goodness to say about the songs that are coming out and how great they are. And I mean, it's difficult as well when you bring the song out. You usually get that straight reaction, don't you? Within a week or two, you think, oh, this is not going to work. But when it came out, the latest song, I only listened to it for about 20 seconds. This is how I usually gauge it. And I think straight away, it either hooks me in, or you think, not quite. And I think many other people at the other radio stations will probably do the same. But we could tell straight away that it was a really good song. I was quite excited. And I know I spoke to Ben, who's the head of music here at Sounds Radio, and he told me before I even said anything, he said, have you heard the Eve song? It's brilliant. And I thought, he's a lot younger than myself, so you're getting sort of a good cross audience there. So it's appealing to a lot of people, which is, I think that's the secret really, isn't it?
And that's what pop music does. It appeals to the masses, to all sorts of people. And and that's just so lovely to hear that, all that positive feedback. Because I think, the first kind of couple of weeks after the release as an artist, you're a bit nervous, you're wondering how it's going to be received. You put so much time and effort into the campaign, and you just want to see it do really well. So it's got off to a great start. And again, huge thanks to Sounds Radio for all your support. You have been amazing championing our music. Thank you.
Our pleasure. And also, when we're playing your song, and this is what I'll let you go now because I'll talk all day. But when we're playing your song, another indication of if it's going to be a great song, it just fits in nicely with all the artists that are in the charts at the moment. I mean, we haven't got any governance over the charts, obviously, but it's what people are listening to. And it just sounds right. It just fits in nicely with it all. And that's a really good sign, I think. And you're on to a winner, I think. Anyway.
Yay! Thank you. That's great to hear.
When you're over these parts anyway, if you ever come up gigging in the northwest of England, just drop us a note and come and say hello, and it'd be great to catch up with you. Wish you all the very best for this year as well. Keep busy, eh? Don't overdo it, though. Get a holiday.
You'll be busy, guaranteed. Thanks, Nigel.
Thanks so much.
It's a pleasure. And thank you for joining us today as well and taking the time out. Okay.
Thanks, mate.
You.
Cheers.
Cheers now. Bye.
Bye.
Sands Radio, from the Fylde Coast for the Northwest and beyond. We play the best music.